What's up, guys? It's your man Robert. So let's say this time around you're selling women's dress shoes, right? So you start off the story. Remember how you start off a story? You start with the hero right in the middle of the action, right? So you say something like, let's call Jen. Let's call the hero of the story Jen. You say something like, Jen's dress decides to do something that no previous dress of hers has ever done, dinner dress or not, right? So right from the get-go, you've started with an action, right? Something that's going on right in the middle of the story. Don't start with, Jen is wearing a dress. Like, who cares? Jen is wearing a dress. Everybody wears a dress, right? So, you start with an action. You say something that will make people question, right? Implying. It's in the middle of the action and you imply a question. So Jen's dinner dress decides to do something that it's never done before, right? That's how you start. That's how you start a story. Okay, so she's wearing a dinner dress. Maybe it's all red, and because Jen is a career girl, she wants to, she wants to go places, so she wears a dinner dress, a red dinner dress. She's going to a company event, right? And she wears dress shoes, women's dress shoes, red, to match her outfit, right? So that's how you start the story. Remember, right in the middle of the action is how you start, and you imply a question, and then now you finish off the paragraph. That's one paragraph. That's the first paragraph. Remember, you're not gonna answer this question of what the red, what the dinner dress did. What happened with the dinner dress, right? You just said the red dinner dress decided to do something that none of her dresses has ever done. Like it's like never. So you imply that question, and then you do not answer that question, that implication, until the end of the story, right? Let's move on to paragraph 2, the second paragraph. So the second paragraph, you start off with action, right? You could say, for example, a dinner plate full of fresh salad, right, comes flying at Jen's face. So you started off with action, right? Bam, action right there, and then you implied a question. You gotta imply a question. You have to keep people in suspense, like they wanna know, right? So Jen, this plate full of salad comes at her. She ducks, right? It misses her. She turns around to look at who's throwing food at her, for example, right? And then something like another plate, because she's turning around. You want to fill this thing with drama and action. Another plate full of cake, let's say. Boom, because she's turned around. Boom, hits her right in the face. Boom. Now everybody around her is like, whoa, what's going on? They all lean back. They're like, everybody, it's a company event. Everybody leans back. Jen's face is covered with cake. Her amazing, wonderful, dinner dress is covered with salad. You know what I'm saying? So, by the way, that is not the answer to the first question. In the first paragraph. No, this is just explaining, answering, what you implied at first, right? So now she turns around. with her face still covered with cake, you could say something like, bam. Because she's turned around now, she sees that the attacker is her former. For example, we just throwing stuff out here. Is her former cubicle mate, right? And she starts swinging. She starts swinging at Jen, and now everybody else just jumps in to stop this drama, right? They want to stop this cat fight that's going on. And you could go on and explain. For example, I'm just giving you an example. You have to create your own story. You could say that they later find out that this cubicle mate of hers was just jealous of Jen because Jen was promoted to an office, leaving her in a cubicle. So she's mad, she's jealous, she's envious, right? So you've done two things. You've explained who threw the salad actually at Jen's face, and who is attacking her and why. But you see, you didn't start with that. You started right in the middle of the action. You put your audience basically on guard. You made them question. Let's check out the third paragraph. Okay, third paragraph. So third paragraph could be something like, staying with the formula. Jen's face turns a deathly blue, right? She's eating her food, she turns a deathly blue. So and then all of a sudden, for example, she's clutching at her throat, right? Now everybody around her turns. Jen's hands are all over the place. She's clutching at her throat, she's flailing her arms everywhere, and then she points at her throat, right? You started right in the middle of the action. Remember, you started right in the middle of the action. Her face turning blue. Everybody's like, what happened? Your audience, they want to know why is Jen's face turning blue, right? So somebody, because it's a company event, somebody comes behind her, and they recognize what's going on. They come behind her and they do the Heimlich maneuver. It's not called the Heimlich maneuver anymore. It's a copyrighted name now, but they do that maneuver where you do that, bam, and they with hands around the body, bam, and they help her out. And we see, the audience sees, not the audience, but people at the party, they see something flies out of Jen's mouth, and they see that it's a large piece of meat, right? Because cake is not choking nobody. It has to be something like meat, right? So they see it's a large piece of meat. So you see right there what you did. You started off with action. Jen's face turning blue. You implied a question, which is why. Why would Jen's face be turning blue? And then you answered it by showing the large piece of meat that flew out of her mouth after somebody helped her out, right? So you've basically answered the question, right? It's a paragraph, right? A paragraph start with a question, imply a question rather, and then answer it. Good job. Let's do paragraph number 4. We're gonna do 5. This is the 4th one. Paragraph number 4. Jen decides to do something that she's never done before. Bam. You see how that works? Right? right in the middle of the action, Jen decides she's gonna do something that she's never done before. The audience wants to know what the heck, like, right? Everybody, your audience, they want to know what is going on, right? Um, Jen's car, out of the blue, it's not starting. Now you're explaining, the journey for this paragraph is to find out what is going on, for Jen to do something she's never done before. So we find out that Jen is in her car, for example, right? And the car won't start. So she tries, calling AAA on her cell phone. And wouldn't you know, her cell phone is dead, right? She was maybe on Instagram or YouTube too much, right? And she's all alone in an empty parking lot. It's 11 o'clock at night. It's after the party. It's after the company event, right? She's all alone. So what do how do you do it, right? What is she gonna do? It can be something like she decides to hitchhike, right? That's the thing that she's never done before. She's gonna thumb for a ride, right? That's it. You do something like that, right? You pose the question, which was, you imply a question, which was, she's gonna do something that she's never done before. Now everybody wants to know what the heck Jen is gonna do, and then you answer it, right? You answer it. You say, hey, at the end of it all, because she tried calling AAA, her cell phone was dead. It's 11 o'clock at night. Her cell phone, since her cell phone is dead anyway, she can't even call. She can't even call Uber or anything, right? So she's thumping for a ride. It's crazy, but that's what she has to do. You explain that, right? Bam. That's the fourth paragraph. Now let's finish the story. We're gonna do paragraph number 5. So paragraph number 5, you could start with something, again, keeping with the formula. You start with an action, right? So for example, in our story here, we could say something like, the weird looking driver of the truck, right, that gave Jen a ride, because she thumped for a ride. That guy, he slumps right on Jen's lap. It's just the two of them in this truck at almost midnight now, right? This guy is giving Jen a ride, so he slumps right on Jen's lap. Jen is shocked. She screams, what the heck is going on, right? Bam, bam. Now your readers, they are hooked to the story, right? Because they are with Jen on this, right? They want her. Everybody's cheering for Jen. They want her to get home safe. So Jen is shrieking. This guy, he's slumped over. The truck is veering off the road, and it's all Jen can do, right? It's all Jen can do to keep from hitting maybe like an electricity pole, right? And so what happens is, this guy, the reason, before he slumped over, you're explaining now, the reason he'd given Jen a ride was because he liked the shoes she's wearing, right? Which, by the way, you introduced in the first paragraph, the women's dress shoes, right? Because remember, she was wearing a dinner dress and a dress shoes, all right? So in the 6 minutes or so that this guy has given Jen a ride. You know, he's been just telling her, "Oh, I love your shoes. They remind me of, you know, of the Queen of England, or you know, some stuff like that, right?" So you explain that, but have you still have to explain what the dinner dress. You still now, because this is the last paragraph, you have to explain about the dinner dress, doing something that is never done before. So anyway, so this truck in our story here, it's veered off the road. You know, this guy is dead. You know, Jen can see that he's just slumped over. She grabs, continue the story. She grabs his cell phone and calls the cops, right? Calls the cops. The cops come. You know, and Jen has a hard time convincing the cops that she is not a working girl, right? You know, we are explaining the dress. We are answering the question from the first paragraph here. You have to answer, remember, and this is key. You have to answer each and every question in your story that you imply in your story. You have to answer. So, you know, so now we're answering the question about the dress. You know, the cops are there. They think she's a prostitute, right? She's a working girl, which she's not. It's just that her dress had decided to split open right in the butt crack, right? So all night long, she was walking at the party, right? At the corporate, you know, at the company event, she was walking with a dress that had split right on her butt. That is the thing that her dinner dress did that's never happened to her before. So see, now you explain. You've explained, you've answered the question, right? And you've also you've also explained why this guy gave Jen a ride, because he loved her shoes. He thought they were English. They reminded him of the Queen of England. You know what I'm saying? So it's storytelling time. And then you finish the story. The story is done. 5 paragraphs with a little story. And then you put your link on there saying, hey, if you want to look like royalty, here's the link to those shoes, right? Good job, guys. And that is how you do it.